I'd like to say a big thank you to Asida Shipping Company for sponsoring my story, my song talk show. If you want to send anything to Ghana, please contact Asida Shipping Company Limited. They have their number on the screen below. Please contact Asida Shipping Company.
Joe, hey, it's all about Asida Shipping Limited. So what a abroach ma'am, you can America say, hey, door to door, papa, abba. Way, what the mom who abroachwa, Ghana over there money about plum, guang. Why, baby, na Asida door to door limited. Do ya bama what I say. What may be a way aha, found near my brand, never come Ghana. I'm a bush of an energy Asida Shipping Limited. A jab,
Hello, welcome to my story, my song show. Today is the day the Lord has made. We must rejoice and be glad in it. Today, there are so many people going through difficulties and challenges. And also, there are many homes that are going through domestic abuse. I have a wonderful lady, a reverend minister, who has gone through domestic abuse, and she's here to share her story. Let's welcome Pastor Gifts Obinna. Hello, Pastor Gifts. How are you?
I'm fine.
You look so well.
Oh, thank you so much.
Pastor is different, yeah?
To the glory of God.
To the glory of God, indeed.
Yes,
it's good to see you. It's
nice
good
to see you. Thank you
I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, it's a privilege.
It is,
such an honor. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pastor Gift, I've read about you, and for the sake of my audience, can you introduce yourself to my audience, who Pastor Gift is?
Okay. So Pastor Gift is just the person you're looking at the moment. I'm a mom of 7, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a student. I'm a pastor. You know, I run different kind of businesses. I've got a business in event line. It's called Roses and Pearls.
Oh, wow.
I'm the founder of Testifying Women. Testifying Women is about using your testimony to heal others as well. So that has been running for the last 5 years. I'm a founder of IGLS. IGLS is Inspiring Gift Ladies Seminar. So I put it into a seminar where people will come, they'll pay for it, and you know, we share the story, we bring speakers. It's such an amazing time that we enjoy there. And also I've got my own brand in the health sector. It's called Gift Health.
Yes, I heard about
and
it.
Gift Health it's just about your health and well-being. The Spirit of God just showed me that a lot of women have gone through out of routine during the lockdown, and you know, they just needed help to find themselves again. And this, you know, initiative came, this revelation came, you know, start off a Gift Health line where people can use their vegetables as food and medicine to their body rather than using medicine as food later in life. So I came up with all those things. So really, that's me. I'm in my final year. I'm taking a second degree in business.
Wow.
And I'm in my final year in business at the moment. Yeah.
Well
so
done. Well
I've got
done.
so much.
You're a woman of everything.
To the glory of God.
Yeah. Pastor Gift, may I know which country you're from and
Okay.
how you got to this place?
Yes, I'm originally from Nigeria.
Yeah. Okay.
And I came into the country. My oldest daughter is 19 now, going to 20.
Okay.
So I came just 2 years before she was born, so about 22 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, to be established here.
How did you come to this country? Like through marriage, or you came as a hustler?
Okay.
To hustle for this.
Apparently, I actually came through marriage.
Okay.
So I came to join my husband here when we got married back in Nigeria. He found me there, and I just came in through marriage, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Is everything okay?
So it was actually marriage, and I can remember vividly, was during the month of October, sometimes in October. Very cold at that time.
Very, very cold.
Yeah,
very
yes,
cold.
yes. So
okay. So what was your first impression when you get to London?
To be
Coming from
honest,
Africa.
I didn't have impression at all. I was actually going through a time where I wasn't sure why I was coming, and I was in between, like a mixed feelings. Like,
Mixed feelings.
why am I coming? Well, I don't know, because when I was coming, you know, there are red flags anytime you're going through or you're involving. You know, there will be signs. So I saw the signs. It was so obvious.
Okay. So how did you meet your husband? Did you meet your husband here and he came to Africa to get married to you, or he came to Africa and he saw you?
He actually came to Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, I was very young at the time.
Okay.
I just finished university. I was studying philosophy and psychology.
Okay.
Back in uni then, and then he came, and I think that was how we met. He was actually 20 years older than me.
Okay.
At the time, so he was a very, very elderly man, I would say, at the time. So he just came in, you know, came with the story. I met him through a friend.
Okay.
I was meant to meet this friend of hers, and lo and behold, it was this man. He came in with a story, lost his wife, he just came to rest up. And then before I knew it, you know, my friend and him, I don't know what they've had to do together. Eventually, I just saw myself in the scene that I'm actually going to be with this man. And that was all I remembered.
So he didn't come to your parents to do the traditional marriage, or
He did eventually.
He did eventually.
Yes, yeah, he did eventually. My mom at the time and my dad wasn't really sure of maybe it's the way or not, but I think because he's a fetish man anyway.
Oh, okay.
So I'll put it that way.
Did you know that he was a fetish man?
To be honest, it's taken me to a series of herbalists at the time. And I remember there are times that it would take me into a place and they would tell me to go out immediately. You know, they would literally like scream on me, "Oh, get out of this place. Who is this woman? We don't want to see her around." So he is...
For no reason, they would just...
For no reason. And I begin to look at myself that, is there any problem? Do I have a problem? But then they would tell me I'm a witch. Maybe that's why I didn't even... Exactly. So those are the stories they would give me. You know, I remember there was a time one of the men wanted to have incision on my head. And then immediately I came in and he said, no, we're going to change plans. I can't actually touch this woman.
In Nigeria?
That was in Nigeria. I can't actually touch her. And then I was confused. I didn't know what was happening because I was so naive. I was so, you know, I was just there. So he went, I can't actually touch this woman. And I thought, what is happening to me? And even at the time, I feel there was something wrong with me. You know, all he was telling me was because he wanted to protect me. You know, the Western world was very... Were you
a Christian by then, or...?
I was a Christian, you know. I was a Christian, but I didn't actually know who I was. You know, I don't know any... Maybe I've had any benefit in my salvation. I just know, you know, when you're just
go
Christian,
to church, everyone is, you know,
when you're just a Christian and you're in uni, you're just doing your own thing. So it wasn't defined. Okay. I was a born again Christian, but I didn't actually know who I was. Okay. Yeah, as a Christian.
Tell me more about your journey. How long did it take you for you to get here after he married you?
It actually took a while because I remember waiting for about 8 months odd.
Okay.
When he came home, we got married. Everything went quick before I knew it, and then I had to wait for papers to go through. You know, so I was literally living with his mom at the time. So
his mom.
Yeah.
But was it true that he lost his wife?
Well, that was the story he gave me, so I took it. You know, I wouldn't. So he came with that emotional, you know, breakdown. You know, he came with so much sympathy. He made himself so vulnerable. So you would want to.
Felt for him.
Yes, you would want to have a pity. Like, well, the only reason why I would talk to you is because you've been through something. So that was the story he gave. So I had to just see what I could do to support. But along the line, I couldn't find myself anymore. I didn't know what happened to me, but I couldn't find myself.
Wow.
You know, so I was just going with the flow. Do this, I do it. Do that, I do this. So I really didn't know. I don't have a say. That's how I'm going to put it. There's that relationship, I didn't have any say.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you came to London, you just from Africa to different country where you have no mother, no father, and how was your life like living with him?
To be honest, when I came in for the first day, I didn't understand. I didn't like it. There was this heat that actually, when I entered the house, there was this feeling that I knew that I'm actually going into the dungeon. When you know that there's something wrong somewhere, you just know that I never felt safe. From when I came in, I felt really bad. I felt down. My mood was low. So I knew there was something wrong. And I could remember this glorious day when I went to the embassy back in Nigeria when I was sorting out my papers. There was this beautiful English lady. She was the one attending to me at that time. She was quite elderly, in her 50s, 60s. Yeah. I remember her talking to me that she's not sure why I'm actually going to be with this person. That I don't, all my document, there was nothing wrong.
No, everything was
she would give me, however, why am I in this relationship? Don't you have a mother? This is not real.
Oh, she asked you?
She was telling me. It's like an angel just sat before me and just revealing everything I was going to go through. Yeah. You know, you're just going to be a house help. This is, I can see everything. You can see behind the lines that this wasn't going to be what you think. He said, why are you with him in the first place? I said, I love you. He said, what do you know about love?
Oh,
you know? You must say, what do you know about love? You're still very young.
Oh, yeah.
You're very young. You're very beautiful. Why are you going to be with a 20-year-old
man? But still, she gave you the visa to come.
She said, well, there's nothing. I don't have any say. You have everything. So, and she gave me the settlement and I came.
How was it when she said that?
To be honest, I knew she saw something. But at that time, it was just too late to go back. Because I said to myself, well, I've come too far to go back. And it wasn't even me anymore. I believe I was just doing things because I've had to do it. Okay. Yeah. So.
And I read that you had 2 children with him.
Yes. So with those children, I had my first daughter, which she's 19 now, going to 20. And then I remember having my son, which was about 4 weeks old there at the time. That was when it's like a covering just came out of my face. And I realized that, where am I? What am I doing here?
Really?
It was such a miracle. That's why I gave that boy Emmanuel. It's like, God is literally there. It was something literally flew off. And I found myself like, what have I been doing here? It's like you were trapped somewhere all those years, but you didn't know where you were.
But you lived with him for how many years before?
I would say about 6 years. 6 years. 6 going to 7 years, yeah.
I also read that you said you pack your bag. You didn't take anything.
Oh, no.
Your bag, and you were going.
Because
where do you think you were going at that time?
To be honest, it has come to the point where I just had to make a decision. Because it was just everything, emotional, physical, psychological, every kind of form of violence that you can actually, talk about. I took an attempt 3 times. I was suicidal 3 times. In fact, I committed suicide.
Oh, wow.
Something kept bringing me back. On the 3rd occasion, I remember I just had a baby, and I remember they said to me it was postnatal depression. But I knew it wasn't nothing compared, near postnatal depression. It was something I felt like there was nowhere to go.
Were you allowed to speak to?
I wasn't allowed to speak to anybody. No, I wasn't allowed to have friends. In fact, the phone I had at the time was given to me on contract. So it wasn't in my name. Every time they send the bill, the itemized bill, the calls, it goes straight to him. And you will see him highlighting, giving a call back to the numbers that is not sure. Yeah. So he would do that. Every time I work, I don't have my money. He holds the cards, everything. It got to a point that I had to start shoplifting to get myself underwears, get myself clothes.
Really?
Yeah, I remember a glorious day I went to Primark. I went to, just go and shoplift. Because I didn't have any money to help myself,
Was
help
he
my
working
daughter.
then?
It wasn't working. It
So-
was claiming as a widower. So I was the only one working, paying the mortgage.
Oh, so you were working? at that
Yeah, I was
time too?
working. I was working in McDonald's. I was working in Boots. You know, I was doing all several jobs. And I remember he told me, if you're going to be a woman in this country, you have to have a life insurance. So, and he took me to Lloyd's and we set up a life insurance, which if anything happens to me, it pays out about 700 grand. Yeah.
Wow.
So 700,000 pounds. So
700,000 pounds?
Yes, and he had 2 children at the time where I looked after them.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were twins, a boy and a girl. So it was just all sorts. So things were, I've got to the point where I knew is either I die or, you know, just, I don't know, or just leave.
Yes.
So the last attempt of me committing suicide, I remember I took my children to the Thames. So I took the baby was, I just had him, it was about 2 weeks plus at the time. So I drove him to the Thames. So I've taken a leap. It was just for me to take the second leap to jump. That was
With the
somewhere
baby?
yeah, I left them.
Oh, you left
So
them?
I put the baby in the buggy and then my daughter was just standing and I wanted to jump. It got to that point. And this baby, I've slept for hours. The moment I took the second leap, that was when the baby started crying. The cry was like, it was like, you cannot just date.
Wow.
And I came back to myself.
Wow.
And I realized that where am I going? I started crying. Where am I going to leave my children to? What even got me to this point? Every time I still think about that, it's so emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at them. I said, no matter what happens, I can't
leave
leave them behind. I will not be a coward and just leave these children. So that was when I began to talk to myself that even though I don't have anybody, God is going to make a way.
How was it like when you go to work? Were you able to speak to someone, your colleague at workplace, or?
To be honest, there are several times that he would come unannounced just to check me at work.
He would come unannounced at your workplace?
Yes, unannounced, and just to look at who I talked to. There was a day I came back home and before I came in, it was already beating because apparently I was talking to a security guy and we were laughing. How did you know that? I felt like, oh my God.
Very insecure, man.
Very, very insecure. So for instance, if I finish 5 o'clock, I should be home by 5:30. So no matter what I do, I must be rushing, carrying my bag, doing everything to make sure I get home by 5:30. Otherwise,
you get beaten.
It's going to be very serious. I had to do sign of the cross because you don't know what happens each day.
Wow.
I remember times I've been pregnant, I've been pushed from the stairs, and I'll get to the hospital bleeding profusely.
And you couldn't tell the doctors?
I can't. And they told me this is intentional act. I said no. I fell down because it had already told me if I've ever mentioned it, I am dead. So I live with that fear of not telling anybody about it because I don't know what he's capable of doing because I can see that he's capable of doing so much. So you know who you're living with, so you have to understand that this is no good. You can't even date.
What about your parents back home? Were you able to call them?
I was restricted as to how much I talk to them. I don't. Every time I'm conversing with mommy, it has to be there.
Wow.
So I was restricted, and if I ever call, it's going to show on the bill. So literally, there's no way. So you just have to be very wise in times of that. So when I go out, is either I use a phone booth or something that is, I just have to. But I'm not able to tell them. Every time I say something close to it, oh, it's your husband, there's nothing you can do. You just have to beg him.
Is that what they will tell you?
That's the way. African, you
have
don't
to endure.
It's endurance. So I remember on that glorious day, he was sitting in the sitting room and I said to him, my kids are going, one of the babies got an appointment, and I literally just left. And since then, I've never looked back. So I dropped my rings.
Did you plan to say enough is enough, I'm just leaving, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm just leaving?
To be honest, it wasn't planned, but I just knew that I had to leave. It cannot carry on this way.
And did you know where you were going?
No, I didn't know where I was going. I took my kids. We just jumped on the train, and I was on that train for hours, crying, breastfeeding, because I didn't know where I was going. And this Englishman was sitting in front of me and kept saying to me, "I've seen you for hours.
Wow.
What's wrong with you? Where are you going?" And I don't have words. I kept crying. And he said, "You know what? The next stop, there's a police station there. I would drop you off. We'll go, I'll take your buggy up, and then I'll take you to the police station.
Wow.
Maybe you can speak to somebody." And he did that. When we got to the edge of the platform, he took the buggy, we got there, and then I just wanted to straighten the tires. Before I looked back, he was gone. I knew straight away it was an angel. He was in the room. He was gone. He was like disappeared. And that was actually what motivates me to say, go to that police station.
He helped you?
It helped me.
He took you to the police station?
It disappeared.
Oh, wow.
It disappeared. I just knew, and I was shaking. I was literally like, God.
Oh my God, God is real.
I got to the police station. I told them everything that happened, and they immediately got onto this. They call Camden Women's Aid.
Okay, yes.
So a lady came to collect us from the police station, and they took us to the refuge, and that was the beginning of happiness of my life. We got into that room. It was a very tiny box room, but it was the best thing I could ever have.
Wow.
Just knowing that I can have a chance.
This is really, really sad. I'm feeling emotional now. It's for someone to go through such a horrible situation, for abuse. Sometimes I don't really understand why some people can be so mean and very wicked.
To be honest, I don't think they want to be wicked. I think they've got issues themselves.
You think so?
Yes, they have a lot of issues. Maybe their background, how they've been brought up. Maybe, whatever they've got issues. Before you can get to that point, of course, you have issues that you have not resolved for yourself.
So
obviously, yes, you have to find somebody to take it out on. And that's perpetrator. That is how they behave. They want to be in control. They want to make somebody else feel their pain, but that's their own way of expressing themselves. However, nobody is meant to take that from anybody.
So since you left, have you heard from, how long did it take to hear from you, or you've never heard from him?
To be honest, we were in the refuge for 6 months.
Yeah.
We were there for almost 2 years, but then 6 months, after 6 months, I saw some police. They came at the knocking, looking for me. Apparently, I was declared missing with my children, and the story they had was, I've got mental health. I walked out and I took the kids, so they needed to collect the children.
Really?
Yeah, and section me. So that was the story, and that was what they came to carry out. So they figured out where I was. Obviously they know how to find people.
Yes.
So they figured out where we was, and thank God there was a key worker present in the home at the time. And then she quickly jumped in and said, no, this is a women's refuge, people that have gone through, series of violence, and, this is a safe place for them. So hopefully, if anybody is telling you that they just want to find a way of getting back at the women, this place doesn't even have an address. You can say it's a PO box. So every woman here is here to be safe and be free. So they can't take me. They can't. So the police said, "Oh wow, nobody told. He didn't mention any of this." Wow. And then immediately they said, "Well, we found her. She's fine. She's safe with her children. She has been through abuse, from you. She's fled that."
So he told them that you are mentally ill.
Yes, I just walked out with the kids.
Like that?
Yes. So I needed to be sectioned. And why did it take 6 months? They now started looking at the question. Why would it take 6 months?
6 months for you to...
Apparently, had pressure from my family, because I didn't call anyone. Not my family, not my mom. Nobody knew the plans I was heading for. I did not talk to anybody. because I knew at that time the most valuable properties I needed was my children and my life. You know, if I am alive, I can still do it again. It's just the mindset.
Wow, Pastor Gift,
Yeah.
this is serious. And
serious.
I think a lot of women too are going through emotional abuse, physically, emotionally, but they are scared to talk about it. And I think until they come out, it's difficult. When you're in, it's very difficult to talk about it.
I agree. But one thing, well, I always use my own life as a case study.
Yeah.
You know, it's always good to be scared. You know, some people even say, oh, because of my children. You know, these children, they are not meant to experience abuse. I'll give you a scenario, because I remember when we were in the refuge, my daughter wasn't settling down. She wasn't talking apparently. For years, she never talked. I've never heard this child talk. So it became a concern. So the health visitor and the lady that was supporting us at the time referred us to a place called Tavistock. It's a counseling firm. So they do work with family, they do work with children. And she referred us. Thank God the referral came quickly. So we ended up there. We had the first session. The second session was when this lady wanted to know more about my daughter. And then what she did was just so simple. She brought a bowl of water, put some animals, you know, plastic animals,
Yes.
like animation, put them in the water, and say to her, Sarah, who do you like to save? And she looked at me, she looked at everyone in the room, and she pointed her hand to the baby. I said, so this, and the lady said, okay, there you go, save your brother. And then she picked a little baby out of the water. And then they waited for another 2 minutes just to come back again. And they said to her, who do you like to save? You know, there's animals, there's lions, who do you want to save? And she pointed at me.
Oh my God.
And she picked another person out of the water, put it on the side. Everywhere went quiet. Then the lady one went, Sarah, aren't you going to save Daddy? And then she started screaming.
Oh my God.
Pushing everything. She was so violent.
They
had to save us. They had to remove me immediately. And the baby out of the room. She was breaking the shelf, screaming, no. That was the first time I would ever hear my daughter's voice.
Say no.
She was screaming, no, I'm not going to save him. He needs to die in the water. The crocodiles is going to eat him up. He has been mean to my mommy. He beats my mommy. I've never heard. I was crying even till today.
So what you were going through was affecting the baby?
She's already affected. And that has taken her voice. She couldn't even talk because she's seen too much not to say something. She's now in a state of shock, in a state of fear. She doesn't know what's going to happen to her. And she said she's get beaten with belts, you know. She was just screaming that she wants a white dad.
Oh.
Every time mommy takes me to the park, I see the white daddies, they lift up their children and they hug them, they play with them, that she doesn't want. And mommy brought me to the holiday home so that we are safe, we are still in the holiday. She was crying, she was screaming.
Oh my God, this is
I had to watch my daughter for almost 1 hour displaying. You know, and this is why I tell women, you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for your children. You don't want to breed another generation of children, violent children. Because I remember every time she goes to play club nursery, all she does is beats people up.
Oh my God.
She just beats
That's
everyone.
all she knows.
That's all she knows, that's all she's seen. So it was just grace at work that I had to take that responsibility, just to, I don't see myself as someone that has been through it. I see myself as a survivor, because I can stand there and sit down here today and talk to everyone that I have survived it. Yes. I have survived it.
Saved by the grace.
By the grace of God.
Yeah.
Because He took us out. I didn't, you know, you get to a point where you're so afraid that you don't even know what to do. Your fear keeps you bound. But let your fear be the one to open you up so that you can see yourself
It's true.
in a different way. Yeah.
There was another thing that I heard when you were talking to Nana, that one day you slept, you found your hair.
Yes.
Cut.
I remember when I was still there in the marriage, you know, there was this day I woke up and all my hair was shaved off in between. And I woke up and he said, well, maybe one of your family, they're witched, they have taken it, yeah, taking your hair off. And that gave me so much, I was so concerned.
Yes, we have to.
I knew that something is happening to me, but I don't have a voice to say, why is this? I can't challenge him. I can't talk. You know, it's an authoritarian. So you can't just say anything.
It's true.
So I just
You have no evidence that he did
no
it.
evidence. No evidence, but I just know he did it.
That he did it. Yeah.
So what I did was spoke to somebody.